the dancer.
Kirsten Dunst is a troubled teen whose romance with Jay Hernandez could jeopardize his future in Crazy Beautiful. I'm Roger Ebert.
And I'm Richard Roeper. I've seen a lot of movies about star-crossed high school romances, but few have been as smart and as authentic as Crazy Beautiful. This is a beautifully spun love story that respects its characters and the audience. Kirsten Dunst is sensational as Nicole Oakley, one of those smart and pretty girls in high school who spends all her time trying to downplay those very traits. She's an upper-bracket outcast who develops a crush on straight-laced poor kid Carlos Nunez, played by Jay Hernandez.
I'm here because I really want to be here. And you're here because, I mean, why are you here if it's such a big joke to you?
I don't know. That's my father.
Nicole's father is a liberal congressman whose second wife has a ton of money. His heart bleeds for the masses, but he's given up on his own daughter.
You know, it's a painful thing for a father to have to acknowledge the truth about their own child. It's taken me a long time to accept who she is and who she's never going to be.
That's Bruce Davison in a career highlight performance. Another strong point is the friendship between Nicole and Maddie, played by Taryn Manning.
A what?
Football game?
I heard you. The Pacific game?
Yeah, football? What? It'd be fun for a group. Come on.
Crazy Beautiful also finds time to address the cultural differences between Nicole and Carlos. Her supposedly enlightened father assumes Carlos is the maid's nephew when they meet, while the kid's loving but cloistered family disapproves of him seeing a white girl. This is a serious film that respects the depths of teen heartbreak, but it also has some tension-relieving laughs and some excellent music. After a depressing run of instantly forgettable teen movies, it's refreshing to see this sophisticated gem. Now, director John Stockwell reportedly made some adjustments at Disney's behest to get a PG-13 rating, but what we do see on screen here is effective and it's moving.
And I'm not really against those adjustments because I think it's good that younger audiences can see this movie without having to have the parent and adult guardian that allegedly are needed, because it's a cautionary tale. It's a tale that says, look, here's a kid who's responsible, who wants to get into Annapolis, who takes himself seriously, and a fortunate girl who has all the breaks and is throwing them away. Right. And he's trying to teach her something, and they can both learn something from each other, especially with these natural and unaffected performances. And I also love Bruce Davison because his heart is in the right place. He doesn't understand his daughter, but he wants to. And the most heartbreaking scene in the whole movie, in a way, is when he warns the boy, don't date my daughter, she's bad for you.
Right. It's such a twist because if you expect the white, liberal father, maybe he'd have a problem with the kid's ethnicity. It's not about that. He's actually trying to save the other kid because he's given up on his daughter. But the emotions at the end of this story and the things that happen are authentic because of the way the story plays out from the beginning. And you mentioned, Kirsten Dunst is just a real treasure of an actress.
Sure is. Okay, our next movie, Baby Boy, has director John Singleton returning to the same Los Angeles location where he made his great 1991 film, Boys in the Hood. He takes now another look at young black men. This is kind of, in a way, a companion piece to Crazy Beautiful. This time his subject, or maybe I should say his target, is a 20-year-old named Jody who has children by 2 women, has never held a job, lives at home with his mother, and likes his life just the way it is until his mother gets a new boyfriend.
He owns a landscaping business. Maybe you can work for him and make some money, Jody.
Mama told me you got a problem finding a job. I had that problem, too, before I went into business for myself.
That's Tyrese Gibson as Jody, A.J. Johnson as his mother, Ving Rhames as her no-nonsense boyfriend. The love of Jody's life is Taraji P. Henson, who is also on his case for irresponsibility. He actually borrows her car to visit his other girlfriend.
You know why I made you have JoJo?
Why?
Because I thought I was going to get shot out here in these streets. I wanted a piece of me to still be here, even if I was gone.
Jody's best friend is Sweet Pea, played by Omar Gooding, the brother of Cuba Gooding, whose first starring role was in Singleton's Boys in the Hood. Both of these pals are in the same boat. No jobs, no prospects, no self-respect.
I got to ask my woman and her mama for money. How do you think that make me feel, huh? Think I feel like a man?
Most films about young black men glorify their lifestyles. This one is a merciless scrutiny. Jody essentially is a baby boy, living for free, taking no responsibility, and then suddenly it seems like everyone is on his case. There are reasons why many young black men feel marginalized by society, but Singleton offers no easy excuses. His advice to Jody is, grow up. A clear eye and strong performances give this story the ring of truth.
Well, I didn't think it had the ring of truth, and I think, okay, yeah, he does give us an unblinking portrayal, but the redemption of some characters is not authentic to me. I don't think anybody really changes in this movie, and I found this character of Jody to be one of the most whining, self-pitying losers.
That's the whole idea.
Well, yeah, but I think the whole idea is we're supposed to see him grow and change, and he does it. And another thing, Roger, this movie's far too long at 2 hours and 9 minutes. It goes on and on and on. I think Singleton's trying to give it this epic feel, but these characters don't deserve
I think what he's trying to do is give good screen time to all of the characters. So it's not just Jody, but it's also, there are good roles for the women, for his mother and for his girlfriend, and also for the new boyfriend, and also for the friend. It shows the whole world. But you know, the point when you just call him whining, I mean, you're not supposed to like this guy. He's not the hero. He is a guy who needs to grow. We like his mother. I like his girlfriend. I like his mother's boyfriend. I like everyone in the movie except him. Jody is the one who has to get his life together.
What's to like about the women in this film?
What's not to like about them?
Well, they pine after these men who aren't worthy of their love, and they define themselves by whether or not these losers, these petty thugs, these ex-cons care about them. And if the men care about them, they feel complete. That's not an unrealistic comment. That's what happens in the movie.
Take into account the available men that they can find in their lives that are available to them. First of all, the mother finds a good guy. He's got a landscape service.
Oh, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy, yes. He's responsible. He provides. He comes home every night. What's wrong with that
good character? Guy who punches out the sun and sends him crashing through the coffee table. The good guy who takes the gun from him at one point and apparently is going to help him conceal a felony. That's the good guy in this story.
You have not understood this movie in the slightest.
I've understood it completely. I don't like what I see.
The whole movie.
Well, I don't think
and when he hits him, I would hit him too.
I got the point of the movie, and I got the 15th time someone told Jody to grow up, I got the point of the movie.
Okay, coming up later in the show, young love blooms in a girls' boarding school and Lost and Delirious. And coming up next, Chris Rock is the man behind Pootie Tang.
Man, Pootie done did it again!
Lance Crowther plays Pootie Tang in Pootie Tang, and I hope you think the name Pootie Tang is funny because everybody in Pootie Tang constantly says Pootie Tang. I did too. I thought, why can't you be funnier, Pootie Tang? Why are you in a full-length movie called Pootie Tang when you're nothing but a sketch character from the Chris Rock show? Pootie Tang. Rock shows up as the young Pootie Tang's father, so I guess that makes him Mr. Tang or maybe Pootie Sr.
Don't you grab them peas without asking your mama, boy.
May I dine on the cherries, Mommy?
Yes, you may, Pootie Tang.
Now that's better. You got to have respect to get respect, Pootie Tang.
I laughed hard at some of the childhood flashback scenes, but the grown-up Pootie Tang is a tiresome character who's no more articulate than Mushmouth from the old Fat Albert cartoon series.
Pootie Tang! All right!
Say to Shane, my Billy.
Same as always, baby.
That's Wanda Sykes as Pootie's wannabe girlfriend, Big E Shorty. Just like everybody else in the movie, her main purpose seems to be to wear funny outfits and talk about the wonderfulness that is Pootie Tang. The problem is that Pootie himself has no real zing. He's a marginally funny mope whose wacky catchphrases quickly become tired and limp. Like the Tim Meadows character, the Ladies' Man, Pootie is a 5-minute bit that simply doesn't have the heft to stretch into a full-length film. I seriously doubt that I'm going to sign your pity on the runny kind Sipite is going to sweep the nation. But here's a catchphrase worth remembering. Pootie Tang stinks.
You know, I think it's a lot worse than you give it credit for. I think this is really hardly even a movie at all. I mean, if you take out the opening credits and the endless end credits with a music video under them, this movie is barely 70 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I noticed in those endless end credits that the end credits and the opening credits were directed by a different person than the person who directed the movie. And I'm going to propose to you, this movie was never finished.
Really?
That this movie does not feel like it's ready to be released. It feels like there are missing scenes, missing payoffs, missing introductions, and basically a missing movie. This is just like outtakes. These are like the deleted scenes, and they're holding the movie back from us.
We got the second disc of the DVD without getting the original.
Yes, it's not merely bad, it's incompetent.
If you do go to see Pootie Tang, go out and get some Junior Mints, come back, you won't have missed anything, then maybe go check on your car, call the kids, see how they're doing, and you won't have missed a thing at all.
Why didn't you tell me that before the movie started? Okay. Coming up next, Passion and Rebellion collide in Lost and Delirious, starring Piper Perabo.
And looking ahead to next week's show, we'll review Jet Li and Bridget Fonda against some corrupt cops in Kiss of the Dragon.
We're glad you're our new roommate, Mary. Aren't we, Pop?
Duh. Are you glad to be our new roommate, Mary Brave? Come on, truth be honest.
Misha Barton meets her new roommates at an exclusive Quebec boarding school in Lost and Delirious, a movie about youthful passion and rebellion. She'll be rooming with Piper Perabo and Jessica Perret, and soon she'll learn that they're in love, although Perret tries to keep it a secret and is terrified her parents will find out.
She's been planning this trip to Italy all year. I can't just call her up and be like, sorry, Mom, trip's off. I'm going tree planning at West with Polly.
Perabo, on the other hand, is defiant in defending her beliefs and her romance.
Listen to this. A little later, she goes, shall I abide in this dull world, which in thy absence is no better than a sty?
When Perret tries to end their relationship, Perabo stalks into the school library and makes a dramatic demonstration of her love.
I will make me a willow cabin at your gate and call upon my soul within the house. I will write loyal cantons of condemned love and sing them loud even in the dead of night.
I love grand gestures like that. Lost and Delirious is about the same kind of mad passion the girls are reading about in their Shakespeare class, Anthony and Cleopatra. Parabo's character argues that true romance must not be afraid to say its name, but the Perret character is afraid, and her rejection pushes the other girl to greater and more daring demonstrations of her love. This is a lovely movie to look at with lovable and powerful performances, including one by Jackie Burroughs as a headmistress who has known some passion in her life, too. I love uncompromisingly romantic movies that make grand and glorious gestures, and Lost and Delirious is the perfect title for this one.
You're so right about the actions of the character that Piper Perabo plays becoming a mirror of what they're learning about in school. And of course, it sounds great on the page and it reads well, but when someone actually acts that way, it can be frightening. Piper Perabo, it's been well documented on this show that I'm, completely smitten by her, but she's really good in this role, and it's the kind of role that if somebody else does it and they overplay it, you could go, oh God, enough is enough. But she's really solid.
She is totally sincere. And she has scenes in this movie that would be very silly if they were not sincere. And you can see that she's going over the top and knows she's going over the top because she's filled with all these adolescent notions where she even denies she's a lesbian. I'm not a lesbian. My love transcends all categories and stands by itself on the mountaintop of human existence.
And we would be remiss if we didn't mention that this is just a very erotic film. I mean, that room where those three girls are staying, it's what every teenage boy likes to think a room like that would be. Okay, when we come back, The Crimson Rivers, a thriller that's being compared to The Silence of the Lambs.
Is it a serial killer?
He's teasing us.
Jean Reno is Pierre Neiman, a legendary police captain investigating a string of gruesomely creative murders near an idyllic but mysterious college campus in the Crimson Rivers, which plays like The Silence of the Lambs in the French Alps. Now, Crimson isn't in the same league as Silence. For one thing, Pierre doesn't have a Hannibal Lecter-like foil, but it is a wild, ambitious, and often spectacularly entertaining thriller. Nadia Ferrez is Fanny, a local who discovered the first body while mountain climbing.
Ils exportent les flics maintenant?
Dans certains cas, oui.
Dommage, j'aime bien la gendarmerie. Ils font preuve d'une rigueur militaire qui m'amuse.
Moi aussi.
Pierre enlists Fanny's help in investigating the murder site, and it's not as if they can take a cab to get there.
Bienvenue dans la machine à remonter le temps, commissaire.
Vincent Cassel is Max, the young cop working a vandalism case who stumbles directly into Pierre's path.
Apparemment, c'est une de ses enfants.
Comment il est mort?
Écrasé par un camion sur l'autoroute. Ça a été classé comme un accident. Et moi, j'ai retrouvé la mère. Elle m'a tenu un discours complètement différent.
There were times when the plot of The Crimson Rivers left me snowblind. Corpses are piling up, yet Pierre seems to be falling for Fanny, and in the meantime, Max is getting into a wild video game-style brawl with skinheads, and then he's visiting a blind nun who believes her daughter was murdered by demons. Now, if all of these elements had been tied up neatly and without gimmicks in the final scene, I would have stood on my seat and applauded. But the ending is actually sillier and more contrived than the last 5 minutes of a mediocre straight-to-cable mystery. Nevertheless, I am recommending The Crimson Rivers for its mad opera style and for the great Jean Reno.
You know, I was let down by the ending, too, and frequently in thrillers, I don't even want to know what the ending is because I like the setup so much better than the solution. But Matthew Kassovitz, who directed this movie, he's a young French director who has made previously 3 movies set in the urban grittiness of Paris and suburbs about young kids, and suddenly here he turns out to be a wonderful visual stylist who makes a movie that is just fascinating to look at. This movie, like Silence of the Lambs, carries you along on these characters and these locations and these strange sights and sounds almost all the way to the end, and I recommend it too.
Yeah, and he knows it's reminiscent of the Silence of the Lambs. There's a scene where the corpse is strung up, very reminiscent of the scene from that, and he's very aware of having fun with this. That scene, I mentioned the video game style, you even hear like the game saying, game over, when the fight is done. I mean, it's some wild stuff.
He's filled with lots of exuberance and invention. Okay, our next movie, named Himalaya, was one of last year's Oscar nominees for Best Foreign Film. It tells the story of a dangerous trek through the mountains of Nepal, an ancient tradition that is both practical and spiritual. As the film opens, the young village chief has been killed in an accident, and now there's a struggle between his best friend and the dead man's father to lead the caravan. The older man, named Tinley, was formerly the chief and insists he's still equal to the goal. The younger man is named Karma. There's a bitter rivalry as Tinley and Karma lead herds of yaks and disagree about the route, the weather, and everything else. There's a hint of American westerns in Himalaya, and in the showdown between the generations, I think we're maybe supposed to be reminded of John Wayne and Montgomery Clift in Red River. The film has been directed by Eric Valley, and the CinemaScope photography is breathtaking in the way it captures the lonely mountain vistas. Valley is a National Geographic photographer. Some of the sequences look as if they were as dangerous to photograph as they play out in the movie. The story is simple and yet thrilling and effective in the way it uses mostly local people to play themselves. I've never, ever seen anything quite like Himalaya before.
I would agree with that, yet I'm still going to give it a reluctant thumbs down because I think that CinemaScope approach and the National Geographic background make this very curiously uninvolving for me. I mean, it looks beautiful, and I kept thinking, my God, they must have gone through so much to make this story, but the story itself just plays out, and you know exactly what's going to happen. There are no surprises, and as I said, you know, because you're so far away from everything, I didn't get involved with it.
Well, I was disappointed. There's some enormous suspense in the scene where they're trying to get over that part of the past where it looks like the bricks are falling away and the bridge is going to let go. It's kind of like Wages of Fear or Sorcerer in that scene, and it really worked. I know what you mean when you say that the look of the film is better than the drama, but I'm thinking I've never seen this before, and I'm grateful to be able to see it and to see it while it's still there to be photographed.
That is almost enough to have me recommending this. All right, we'll be back next with my parting shot. The movie is over. The credits start to roll. You're scrambling for the exits, and that's when the stars reappear like party guests who forgot their car keys. Those outtakes are cookies, and many of them are starting to get on my nerves. When Pootie Tang ended, I sprang out of my seat as if I'd been goosed, but then I had to endure a full-length music video and a bunch of lame bloopers. That's the general rule. If
we now join the following program already in progress.
The cookies will be stale. If the movie is clever, think Ferris Bueller's Day Off or There's Something About Mary, the epilogue will also be entertaining. But I've yet to see a lousy film redeemed by a cookie. So the next time you're walking out after a bad movie, don't look back. And that's my parting shot.
Okay, recapping this week's movies. 2 thumbs up for Crazy Beautiful, a split decision for Baby Boy, 2 big thumbs down for Pootie Tang, 2 thumbs up for Lost and Delirious. It opens next week in selected cities. And 2 more thumbs up for Crimson Rivers. But finally, a split decision on Himalaya.
Remember, you can hear our reviews at ebert-roeper-movies.com and read us in print at suntimes.com. Next week, we'll be back with the science fiction epic Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within. And until then, the balcony is closed.
I think you're really wrong about Baby Boy, the best movie on the show. I mean, when you talk about their choices of men, haven't you heard about man sharing and the man shortage in the black community?
I've heard about that, and I thought for a while there was going to be a relentless look at that, but it pulled back and it compromised for a happy end.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's about these people, and it really deals with them.